Tonight on News Prime, NLC rejects proposed electricity tariff hike, threatens mass protest. In business, Nigeria to host first Africa Raw Material Summit in Abuja. On the foreign scene, Israel blocks entry of all humanitarian into Gaza. And in sports, Rwanda appoints new head coach ahead of Super Eagles 2026 World Cup qualifiers clash. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. You can now download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has urged the federal government to shelve any planned hike in electricity tariff under whatever guise, threatening to lead mass resistance against further increases. It also threatened to shut down operations of telecommunications company should they fail to implement the 35% tariff hike agreed upon with the government as against the 50% earlier approved through the Nigeria Communications Commission (NCC). The Congress, in a communique issued at the end of its National Executive Council meeting in Yola, Adamawa State, says members of Council unequivocally rejected the ongoing reclassification of electricity consumers by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, which seeks to forcefully migrate consumers from lower bands to Band A under the guise of service improvement, while in reality imposing unjustified extortion on the masses. Members of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has expressed their displeasure over the federal government's persistent failure to implement the payment of the 77,000 naira allowance. The federal government had approved an increase in the corps member monthly allowance from 33,000 to 77,000 effective July 2024. In the same year, Director General of the Corps, Brigadier General Yushal Ahmed, stated that the non-release of funds created that issue. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed deep condolences to the family of Adenike Ebonoluwa Oyebola, a distinguished educationist and diplomat. She is Nigeria's first female minister of cabinet rank who died at the age of 94. The president also extended his sympathies to the government and people of Ogun State over the loss of their illustrious daughter. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has described the death of a media icon and philanthropist Kenneth Gyado as a huge blow to not only the Gyado family but the entire state. The governor made the assertion at the burial of the late Gyado in Ihu, Vandikia local government area, where he joined other sympathizers to pay his final respects to the deceased. Correspondent Felicity Ndere has details.
It was a gathering of sympathizers cutting across different walks of life at Tegiadu in Ihu, Vandikia local government area, as they joined the governor to bid farewell to a personality many described as one who made tremendous impact, a committed citizen, popularly known as Kenny G. As an elder brother to the late Kenneth and Benue State Chief Executive, Alia acknowledged the selfless life of his younger brother, whom he said played a vital role in his emergence as governor of the state.
Very grateful to God for this visitation he has done to us by calling this young man home. Friends, remember the words we speak are prayers, because as God is everywhere, so are his ears everywhere. He hears and he listens. This young man had buried himself way before today. The love of God. He just each time he came back from a trip, particularly at some holy site.
For the family, his demise is a great loss owing to his values. Reverend Father Simeon Ibe in a homily, acknowledged the disease passing as shocking and attributed it to the nature of life and death, which he said should inspire those still alive to avoid being caught unaware. Father Ibe stated that Kenneth lived a short but impactful life that should be emulated. The cleric, like other sympathizers, prayed that God grants him eternal rest. From Vanica Local Government, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global TV News.
Persons living with disabilities in Abia State have trooped to Government House, Umuahia, and received their Tudu solar energy systems designated for the first batch of 100 pre-scheduled beneficiaries. The event, which was tagged Empowering Abilities, Illuminating MSMEs with Solar Solutions, was organized by the Office of the Wife of the Abia State Governor, Priscilla Chidinma Oti, in conjunction with that of Nigeria's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu. This project, which is being implemented and powered under the Renewed Hope Initiative project of Senator Oluremi, is aimed at supporting micro, small and medium enterprises for persons with disabilities across the country. An Abia State High Court, presided over by Justice LTC Eruba, has stopped the enforcement of the purported suspension of a former Senate President and Chairman Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Adolphus Wabara. In a court order made available, Justice Eruba restrained Abia PDP leadership, led by Elder Abraham Ama, from enforcing the suspension. Wabara had dragged Ama before the court, seeking an order restraining the defendant from enforcing the purported suspension. President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Afam Osigwe, says the tenure extension of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoko, is constitutional. This follows a former police IG, Sunday Hindero's declaration that Egbetoko deserves the extension on account of his competence, performance, and academic qualifications. Osigwe explained that Egbetoko's continued stay in office, as enabled by President Bola Tinubu's amendment to the Police Act, is valid. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a 42-year-old Angolan businessman, Mbala Dajo Abuba, at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, for attempting to traffic a large consignment of cocaine, which he ingested to Istanbul, Turkey. Abuba, who is from the Zaire province in Angola, was arrested on Tuesday, 25th February 2025, at the screening point of the Kano airport while trying to board Egypt Air Flight MS-880 to Istanbul, Turkey via Cairo. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has handed over 52 suspected victims of human trafficking to the Zamfara state government after they were intercepted en route to Abuja for mining work. The individuals from Anka and Talata Mafara local government areas were arrested by the Nigerian Army before being transferred to the Department of State Services for investigation. The police command in Bauchi has confirmed the arrest of a 50-year-old businessman for alleged culpable homicide following a fatal domestic dispute with his 24-year-old second wife. The command spokesman, CSP Ahmed Wakil, in a statement says the tragic incident occurred in Fadama Mada area of Bauchi during a disagreement over food ingredients and fruits meant for breaking the Ramadan fast. Reports indicate that the argument escalated, leading to the husband allegedly striking his wife with a cane. Tragedy struck along Benin-Auchi Highway as 12 passengers were burnt to death in a fatal collision between a Toyota Hiace bus and a truck. Edo State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Cyril Matthew, confirmed the incident, which reportedly occurred around 5 a.m. at the Igwe Obiobo community near an army checkpoint on the highway. Matthew stated that the bus, which departed Zuba in the Federal Capital Territory en route Benin, collided head-on with an oncoming truck heading towards Auchi. You're watching the live broadcast of the News Prime. When News Prime returns, Nigeria to host First Africa Raw Materials Summit in Abuja. We'll bring you details of these as well as business and foreign stories right after the break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Prime. The news returns with business tonight. The Director General of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, Professor Nanyelugo Martin Ike Monso, says Nigeria is set to host its first Raw Materials Summit in Abuja. Professor Ike, while speaking at the pre-briefing in Abuja, says the summit will address Nigeria's critical challenges through economic diversification and industrial growth strategies, stating that the summit team shaping the future of Africa's resource landscape highlights the collective vision to leverage Africa's vast natural resource wealth for sustainable industrialization, economic diversification, and global competitiveness. He lamented that Africa is still struggling with industrial transformation and sustainable development, despite a significant share of the world's raw material. The federal government has expressed excitement over the successful hosting of the first ever International Submarine Cable Resilience Summit by the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, in Abuja. It also expressed optimism that the summit would be effectively implemented to enhance digital inclusion and improve global telecommunication services. Describing the benefits as far-reaching, the government reiterated President Bola Tinubu's commitment to driving the nation's economic growth through digital platforms and enhanced connectivity. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining a transparent and resilient financial system by reinforcing regulatory compliance and risk management across Nigerian financial institutions. The regulatory institution also stated this at a high-level mandatory compliance and anti-money laundering training workshop held in Lagos. Special advisor to the Apex Bank's governor on compliance, Shola Phillips, emphasized the need for strict adherence to global banking standards to sustain confidence in Nigeria's financial sector. The federal government has emphasized the need for long-term agricultural investments to tackle food insecurity, stating that short-term palliatives are not a sustainable solution. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, made this known at the Green Agric West Africa Expo 2025 in Lagos. The Agro Expo themed Green Agriculture, the pathway to food self-sufficiency in West Africa, brought together farmers and key stakeholders in the agricultural value chain. Nigerian crude settled at $75.68 cents per barrel in the last trading session of February amid heightened geopolitical uncertainty. Oil traders favor Nigerian oil blends due to their prevalence of light oil grades and low sulfur content. Brass River, Bonny Light, and Kwaibo, the nation's key oil blends, are trading above $75 per barrel, approximately $3 higher than the Brent contract, demonstrating this preference. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, has commenced the 80 billion naira reconstruction and upgrade of the Alau Dam in Borno State. The dam is a critical infrastructure for water supply, irrigation, and flood control in the region, built between 1984 and 1986. However, on September 10, 2024, a collapse due to severe flooding displacing thousands and disrupting agricultural activities and the water supply. A new report by the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, has revealed that fraudsters exploited weaknesses in the banking system to steal over 1 billion naira using bank verification numbers, BVNs, illegally registered for minors. The report indicates a growing trend of financial fraud, with compromised bank officials and agents facilitating the illegal registration of BVNs for underage individuals. To ensure the well-being of the citizenry, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, in collaboration with Afreximbank, is set to complete the African Medical Center for Excellence. Chief Corporate Communications Officer of NNPCL, Olufemi Shoneye, made this known during a stakeholders' engagement with the National Assembly Press Corps in Abuja. The medical facility is a 500-bed hospital specializing in oncology, hematology, cardiology, and advanced medical training for Nigerians. On the foreign scene, 33 world leaders have declared support for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky following a tense meeting between him and United States President Donald Trump. The world leaders also condemned Russia's actions in Ukraine. Zelensky and Trump's meeting at the Oval Office, which Vice President J.D. Vance attended, ended in a deadlock, with discussions at the meeting generating heated arguments over debate on the future of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Vatican says Pope Francis, who has been in hospital for 2 weeks with double pneumonia, is in a stable condition with no recurrence of the previous day's breathing crisis. The Holy See says in its regular evening update that the 88-year-old head of the Catholic Church is still receiving oxygen but has no fever. The Vatican noted that his hemodynamic parameters, those relating to the flow of blood, are also stable, and he does not have leukocytosis, a high white blood cell count that often indicates an infection. Elsewhere, Israel has blocked the entry of all humanitarian aid into Gaza as it demands Hamas agree to a U.S. plan for a ceasefire extension. The first phase of the ceasefire expired on Saturday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office say Hamas had so far refused to accept a temporary extension under a proposal by Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff. A Hamas spokesperson says blocking supplies to Gaza was cheap blackmail and a coup on the ceasefire agreement, and urged mediators to intervene. In sports, relegation threatened Sunshine Stars have staged a remarkable comeback to defeat Kwara United 4-2 in a 6-goal thriller in the Nigeria Premier Football League Matchday 27 encounter at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne. Midfielder Amadou Liman was the star of the show, netting a superb hat-trick to help the Akure side secure their first win in 3 league games and ease their relegation worries. Liman put Sunshine Stars ahead after 11 minutes with a well-taken volley, but Kwara United turned the game on its head with 2 quick goals through Issa Gata and Wasiu Alade in the 22nd and 27th minute, respectively. The Rwanda Football Federation has appointed Algerian tactician Adel Amoruche as the new head coach of the national team. Amavubi, the 56-year-old who recently led Tanzania at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, steps into the role, succeeding German coach Thorsten Spittler. His first assignment with Rwanda will be a crucial test against Nigeria's Super Eagles in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Chelsea have reached an agreement to sign highly rated Brazilian full-back Dena Evangelista from Corinthians in a deal worth £10 million plus £4 million in add-ons. The 17-year-old defender will officially join the London club in 2026 with his contract set to run until 2032. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed the move in a post on Sunday via X. To end the Global News Prime, here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has urged the federal government to shelve any planned hike in electricity tariff under whatever guise, threatening to lead mass resistance against further increases. In business, the Director General of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, Professor Nayelugo Martin Ikemwonso, says Nigeria is set to host its first Raw Materials Summit in Abuja. On the foreign scene, Israel has blocked the entry of all humanitarian aid into Gaza as it demands Hamas agree to a U.S. plan for a ceasefire extension. And finally, in sports, we told you the Rwanda Football Federation has appointed Algerian tactician Adel Amrouche as the new head coach of the national team. And that's our package on News Prime tonight. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. You can now download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.